Live at 5.
Here we are, slip sliding our way through another winter storm. This time around, a shovel doesn't do you much good.
Now it's all about the ice this time. Tonight we're talking power outages, airport delays, and slick roads. We begin with WFMZ's Bo Koltnow, who has more on this morning's mess.
From trees to newsstands, early morning ice created a frozen landscape.
It's beautiful, but very hard to manage.
Main roads like Hamilton and Allentown were slow going, but drivable. Take a look at the road. It is quite slushy, a welcome surprise to some.
Better than I thought. I was expecting a lot worse this morning.
Cleaning off my car was a bear, but once I got onto some of the main roads like 78, it was pretty clear.
However, for others, it was a different story. Many rural roads in upper Lehigh and Northampton counties were iced over.
It's pretty treacherous. You know, you need four-wheel drive, but on ice, four-wheel drive doesn't make a difference.
Through the early morning hours, some roads have fared okay, but parking lots, they're a different story. This one in Schnecksville is under several inches of ice. Soft snow turned ice hard. Power lines and branches were covered. In some cases, fell to the ground, like here in Whitehall Township.
Is that your car behind you?
No, that's my friend's car who drove. I don't know how we're going to get it out, to be perfectly honest, because it's covered in ice.
As morning temperatures rose, ice turned to slush and flooded places like the American Parkway. One thing with ice storms, when the ice starts to melt later in the morning, it can create dangerous situations on the road. One thing that can happen is ponding, and if you're not careful, that can be your car windshield. Cleanup for many was long and hard, but it could have been a lot worse.
My wife just came from Staten Island, and it was horrible. So you can't even see going out of an intersection. The snow's piled so high you can't see what's going left or right.
Bo Koltnow, 69 News.
It is a mess. Well, meantime, Lehigh Valley air travel is at a standstill, at least for part of this morning.
Yep, they did bounce back this afternoon. Crews at Lehigh Valley International were hard at work earlier, clearing runways, de-icing planes, that really big equipment they have there. The airport reopened at 8 a.m. and wow, while the traffic didn't start flowing right away, flights started arriving and departing at around 2 o'clock this afternoon. If you want to check out flight delays and cancellations at LVIA, just go to our website, WFMZ.com. Links to the airport's website are located in the travel info box on the right side of our homepage. Now we'll look at the region's highways.
All right, for that, we're going to head upstairs to Rick Edwards in the traffic center.
Good afternoon, Wendy and Rob. We have one incident working in the Lehigh Valley at Route 100 and Tillman Street. Actually, the actual crash is cleared up. They have Tillman Street closed from Route 100 over to Windsor Drive. Now, it's just a block. To the right, how we're looking at this at north of 78, that's 100, running north to south, and then from left to right is Tillman Street. To the right of the intersection, we're closed there on the westbound side for an accident investigation. But it looks like they should be wrapped up here shortly. They have had the road closed for a couple of hours because of an earlier crash. Let's jump on the highway here at 22. You can see lighter than normal traffic volume today. Lots of people took the advice of avoiding unnecessary travel and have stayed home today. And you can see travel lanes are in real good shape on 22, same on 78. Earlier problems on 512 in Plainfield Township between Wind Gap and Penn Argyle, all clear. We had a jackknife tractor trailer tanker truck that was leaking. Quite a big problem in the late morning and early afternoon. More township problems there, all cleaned up. Majors, like I say, in really good shape. Side roads, for the most part, have been plowed and cleared, but we'll have that refreeze tonight. Ed will talk more about that in the weather, of course. New Jersey, we're good on 22 and 78 into the Garden State. No problems up and down the Turnpike Northeast Extension. That's your traffic. Buckle up. Drive safely, please. Back down to Rob and Wendy.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Rick. The storm has put quite a strain on the power lines in the power companies.
At least 17,000 PPL customers in the Lehigh Valley were without power today at one point. That number is now down to about 2,000. Workers at the System Emergency Room at PPL's Lehigh Service Center in South Whitehall Township are coordinating the company's efforts. They've been tracking the storm and its effects since Tuesday.
Now we're dealing with the effects, where the outages are, moving crews around, getting them to the right work so we can get people back as quickly as possible.
Well, PPL spokesman Michael Wood says this has been an around-the-clock event for workers, and he says it'll stay that way until tomorrow, at the very least.
Now, a closer look at the current weather conditions.
That's right. We're going to head over to Chief Meteorologist Ed Hanna.
Hey, guys. Good to see you all. And I thank you so much for allowing us to kind of provide you the freshest information here as far as weather is concerned for eastern Pennsylvania, western New Jersey. It has been a long 48-hour period. 2 waves, had the snow, then the ice. And, of course, as you know, the big story tonight, and it's real important that you note this, is that temperatures dropping into the teens tonight. So while we're in the 30s now, we did get temperatures above the freezing mark between 10 and noon, depending on where you happen to be in our viewing area. The big story is slush. Any standing water will freeze solid. I can't overemphasize that because we're going to be talking about it, and there's a lot of slush out there. Take a look at the storm. Magnificent when you look at it from a Doppler radar standpoint. Still some snow showers back western and central Pennsylvania. We'll have a hard go at getting some of that here as we have subsidence and sinking air. And essentially, there could be some passing flurries, but most of that will stay in central Pennsylvania. Some flurries. If a snow shower would pop up, it wouldn't be a complete shock, but unlikely. As far as temperatures right now, they're dropping. We're going to see them go back down now. We got into the mid-30s, but look at the dew point temperatures as well. So a little bit of patchy fog. The wind, however, is picking up, and that will start to rout out some of that fog, but some of you do still have some lingering fog. Again, slush going to turn to solid ice tonight as temperatures really drop back. 6-day forecast. Tell you about our next storm, next couple storms. 6-day forecast coming up.
Thanks,
Next
Ed.
couple of storms.
Yay.
Good. When it came to cleaning up today, it wasn't so much shoveling and brushing, it was chipping and scraping.
Oh, a lot of scraping. WFMZ's Joscelyn Moes shows us how the region battled the ice.
Freezing rain stuck to surfaces, ice piled up. Road crews worked to make the trip to work a little more manageable.
It was scary. We drove really slow, like maybe 20 miles per hour.
April Goodman drove and walked carefully to get where she needed to go in Easton.
Crazy. I'm hoping to make it back to work with both hips.
City crews salted and scraped sidewalks.
It looks like once we're putting the salt down, it's breaking up, and hopefully the temperature will come up for us.
In Center Square and all around.
South Side, College Hill, West Ward.
They weren't the only ones chipping away at the icy mess. This Catasauqua couple had to clear their driveway.
I'm hot and tired.
And their neighbors.
I didn't think it was this thick, but we probably had an inch of ice.
Hard and heavy.
It's very heavy. You got to break it in chunks.
Back-breaking work.
My back tells me that.
For George Werkheiser of Hanover Township.
6 inches of snow would be equivalent to what this is.
For these folks on this Groundhog Day, shadow or not, spring can't come soon enough. Joscelyn Moes, 69 News.
Trees and power lines weren't the only victims of Mother Nature's wrath during this storm. Officials say this carport in Allentown collapsed and broke a gas line. It happened around 9:15 this morning. The home is in the 1900 block of South Hall Street. No one was hurt. The gas line was patched up within a few hours. A snowplow is no match for a sinkhole. Take a look at this. This is Hanover Township, Northampton County. Township officials say the township plow got stuck at around 3 o'clock this afternoon. The hole opened up at Brentwood Avenue and Greenfield Road. The driver of the truck wasn't hurt. Officials say a nearby water line broke, and that's what caused the sinkhole that gobbled up the truck. Water service has been turned off in this area. There's no word on when it'll be turned back on. The plow was on its last run of the day when this happened.
Well, the storm also left quite a few college campuses quiet today. Northampton Community College is closed, along with Cedar Crest, Lehigh, Moravian, Lehigh Carbon Community College, and Penn State Lehigh Valley. Lafayette College was closed to students, but employees had to report to work. Meantime, DeSales U opened up just a few minutes ago at 5 o'clock, and Muhlenberg College has been open since 11 this morning. Well, some of the region's malls opened a little late because of the storm. There's a lone truck rushed to clear the lots of the Palmer Park Mall this morning. Palmer Park Mall and the South Mall opened an hour later than usual at 11. The Phillipsburg Mall opened at noon, 2 hours later than usual, while the Lehigh Valley Mall opened right on time, 10 a.m.
In other news at 5, a woman who's accused of...
Valley has seen snow and ice. It's all about the snow out west. For the first time in 12 years, Chicago has shut down its public schools. The city got more than 1.5 feet of snow from this massive blizzard. And to show you just how big this storm is, take a look at this. It's a photo from space taken by NASA. It shows the storm in all its humongous glory. A lot of white there. Well, the latest blast of winter weather may be a nuisance to drivers, but it's starting to take a financial toll on businesses in the area as well. WFMZ's Jaccii Farris has more on that.
Ice on the trees along Hamilton Street may look pretty, but for Lehigh Valley businesses, this winter has been pretty ugly.
Every interruption you get, it takes you that much time to get back in gear.
The Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce says many businesses are struggling to make up profits lost in the recent succession of winter storms. Over in Allentown, the parking lots at TC Salon and Day Spa have been cleared of snow, but the salon is closed because of the ice.
This year does seem to be exceptionally more challenging.
TC owner Frank Shipman says with the Bethlehem Salon closed for renovations, weekly snowstorms are the last thing his bottom line needs.
January, February are one of our slowest times to begin with. Then to lose 1 to 2 days a week, you don't make it up. And there's no way to really prepare for it.
In Bethlehem, the situation is pretty much the same. Businesses like Euro Yogurt are open, but have seen a sharp decline in customers.
Every time it snows, nobody wants to come out until later in the day when, you know, everybody's saying, oh, the roads are fine, the roads are fine. But your day's half gone by then, so it's pretty tough.
Azar says the good thing about the snow is that it's only temporary.
I'm definitely looking forward to some nice weather. It'll really get the business back on track and where it's supposed to be.
Jaccii Farris, 69 News.
Well, speaking of nice weather, a certain groundhog has something to say about the rest of this winter.
Yep, he spoke today. Punxsutawney Phil made his prediction this morning from a rainy and icy Gobbler's Knob.
He surveyed his surroundings carefully and found that there was no shadow around. So an early spring it will be!
Yay!
Phil looks very sedated there. He did not see his shadow today. That, according to the legend, means early spring this year. Thousands of people gathered in western PA to see Phil emerge from his stump for the 125th time.
You have to think Phil was using his head in this one, because if he would have...
Yeah, if it had gone the other way.
Yeah, there's snowballs and things that people in the crowd could have gotten a little upset with him.
He'd be scampering away.
Yeah, after this winter so far.
Yeah. Ed, no one's come after you with things to throw at you this winter, have they?
No, but without that news, I would have, if I was there, I would have charged the hog. I would have charged the hog. Yeah, I think folks are they're getting weary. I mean, it's weary.
And at some point, you have to charge the hog.
Charge the hog, yeah. Good to see everybody. I hope you're doing well. Faring through the ice, please. Again, I cannot overemphasize the slush, the standing water, and there's a lot will freeze solid tonight. Temperatures
live at 5:30.
The ice was not very nice to Berks County. It coated everything in its path and brought down tree limbs and wires and knocked out power to thousands of Med-Ed and PPL customers. Good evening once again. I'm Rob Vaughn.
And I'm Wendy Davis. At the height of the storm, more than 41,000 homes and businesses lost electricity in Berks County. And county officials say some people could be without power now until Friday night.
Ouch. Yes. The Red Cross is setting up a shelter for people who are left in the dark now. It'll be at Antietam Middle Senior High School on Antietam Road in Lower Alsace Township. The doors are just opening right now. Volunteers are serving chili and offering people a place to sleep, shower, and stay warm.
Well, it's a particularly bad night to be without power.
I'll say the temperature is going to dip into the teens tonight. Even colder after that. Here's Chief Meteorologist Ed Hanna with the latest.
Yeah, and it's critical to note that while temperatures right now have gotten into the mid-30s, that is our daytime high, actually. There's some melting. There's a good amount of slush, but here's the thing. It will freeze rock solid tonight, so lots and lots of black ice. Take a look at the storm, and we'll look at the last 24 hours. It was an amazing storm to watch, really. That's how things are looking right now. Some snow showers in New York, western Pennsylvania, but due to sinking air and subsidence, it's going to be real hard pressed to get here. We could allow for a couple of flurries, even a stray snow shower, but other than that, look at the dew points. You can see right now 33 and the wind's 10, so that wind will start to rout out and dry out some of the air temperature 36, so just a few places now with that patchy fog, but that will again be routed out here as the winds pick up here tonight. Temperatures are going to drop back. The wind will help dry things off, but it will freeze before I think a lot of it gets the opportunity to dry off, so look out for lots of black ice tonight. We're going to be talking about a couple more storms. It's hard to believe. What an active season. 6-day forecast. It's coming up.
Thank you, Ed. Well, the ice left a glistening glass-like effect on just about everything it touched.
It can be pretty to see, but downright dangerous in some spots. Melissa Fullerton is live in Reading now with more on today's icy blast. Melissa?
Yeah, guys, you know, if you went outside at all today, your first concern was probably your footing. All of that ice left sidewalks and streets pretty slick. And once you got your feet firmly beneath you, you had to worry about what was above you. At first glance, the fresh coating of ice looked like a peaceful scene from a painting. But in an instant, tranquil trees turned troublesome. On Hill Road in Lower Alsace Township, the cracking provided a short window of warning.
It's like almost like lightning striking, like a thunder. Cracks.
Jonathan Westner lives just feet from where this tree landed.
I mean, I'm not scared, but it's been doing it all morning, but that's the biggest one.
If a tree fell and no one was around to hear it, folks still had to deal with the aftermath.
I slept right through it.
Larry Cohen had to work around this branch blocking the sidewalk in front of his Wyomissing home.
I've already called a tree man. That's a little too big for me to handle.
Trees and power lines were at odds all day.
The tree pulled the wire out.
Paul Copenhaver lost the main power line to his house when a branch in his backyard broke loose.
We heard a large crash.
And drivers all over Berks were tormented by trees. This broken branch detoured commuters around Commonwealth Avenue in Kenhurst. In Cumru Township, part of Route 625 was closed when this tree came down and brought an electric pole with it. I spoke with a couple professional tree trimmers today, and they told me that if you do preventative maintenance on your trees, like in the warmer months, then they're less likely to break this time of year. We are live in Reading. I'm Melissa Fullerton, 69 News.
All right. Thanks, Melissa. Well, many people woke up without power this morning. WFMZ's Pam Cunningham has more now on how the ice and electric lines just didn't mix.
Wednesday morning's ice was scary for some.
It's a big crash, and then all of a sudden the flashing I seen from across the street, and my heart just dropped. I ran in here, I looked out, and it was just nothing but a big flood, red and orange, straight across, right in the water.
This smoldering power line on Mineral Spring Road in Reading was knocked out.
Because we knew the ice and everything in the wires, but I didn't realize that a branch of that size was going to do this.
She called 911, and she wasn't alone. Down power lines caused outages all over Berks County.
It looks pretty severe over there. It looks like it was burnt in there. Fortunately, we still have electric on this side of the street, so I'm not sure about the other side of the street.
MedEd says they told power crews that this was going to be a long day with overtime. They're even calling in contractors to help with the thousands without power. Now, one person looking up says these crews have their work cut out for them.
There's limbs falling everywhere. It's taking out lines. You can see right there. And at the end of this block, too, there's another big tree that's down.
Mike Miller says he woke up with no power in his Mount Penn home.
Yeah, it's wrecking stuff all over. In fact, it might happen right now.
Mike says days like this, there's only one thing you can do.
Stay in the house and sit by the fireplace, I guess, or maybe read a book.
I'm Pam Cunningham, 69 News.
Well, the storm system that brought us all the ice left quite a mess out in the Midwest. A line of plows worked to clear the roads here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. A foot or more of snow also fell in parts of Missouri, Indiana, Kansas, Oklahoma, and upstate New York. The storm hit the city of Chicago with its third largest snowfall on record. 1,500 drivers were stranded on Lakeshore Drive.
Now a check on the evening commute in Berks County. Alrighty, the storm is gone. The ice is not.
It's another night to take it easy out there on the roads. The roads started out slick, and a lot of them will probably end the day the same way.
Yep. WFMZ's Bo Koltnow got behind the wheel this morning to give us a taste of the tricky travel.
Just look around.
I see a lot of ice.
Forcing Pete Long to chip instead of shovel his frozen over Moore Township, Northampton County driveway.
There's about 5/8 of an inch of ice on the driveway.
Have you been driving it today?
No, and my car's in the garage, and that's where it's going to stay.
But those who did found the main arteries to be better than expected.
Everyone was staying around 45, 50 on the highway, so it was a little bit slower in that regard, but the volume was a lot less.
Aside from a few massive puddles, Route 248 was relatively clear, as were 309 and 145. While the major roads pretty much escaped without a huge ice covering, the same can't be said for rural roads. Dannersville Road here in Moore Township is under several inches of ice.
It's dangerous, but a lot of people are being smart. They're off the road. There's not that much traffic, which is good.
The ice turned soft snow hard, and in some places brought down limbs and lines. PPL reported power outages throughout the area.
It's beautiful, but very hard to manage.
Which many homeowners around the region found out.
I'm trying not to slip, first thing.
Has it been icy?
Yeah, really bad, actually. It's really hard to get up.
The bright side?
There was no shadow around. So an early spring it will be!
Bo Koltnow, 69 News.
As the sun came up, people got up to chip away at the icy mess. Crews in Easton salted and scraped sidewalks in Center Square and all around. And they weren't the only ones. This Catasauqua couple had to clear their driveway and their neighbor's driveway, making for some back-breaking work.
Yeah, I'm hot and tired.
The ice is really hard, and you need a good 30 shovel to get it broken up.
As the day wore on, things started to thaw some, making it a little easier to dig out.
Well, despite the thaw, PPL employees are working around the clock to restore power to thousands of customers. Our cameras got a look inside the company's storm emergency room today. This is the place where workers coordinate all of their efforts across PPL's coverage area. The main goal, restoring power to every customer.
We're trying to just ensure that we have the proper amount of manpower and all of the support they need in the areas where the trouble is located.
He says by daybreak, PPL saw a spike of outages in the Lehigh Valley. At one point, at least 17,000 customers were without power, but that number is down to about 1,500 now. Over in Berks County, more than 4,000 Med-Ed customers are also still in the dark. Wow, so let's get a check on what we can expect for the rest of the night now.
Here is Kathy Craine in the Weather Center.
All right, thank you very much, Rob and Wendy, and good evening, everyone. Well, as you heard just a few moments ago, the good news from Punxsutawney Phil was that indeed he did not see a shadow, and we'll have an early spring. This is only the 16th time that he did not see a shadow. Yeah. Back to reality, folks. After a cold front moves through tonight, winds are going to definitely increase. You can see that ice storm has moved to the north and east for the most part, but winds will increase and becomes gusty and stronger throughout the evening hours. And along with the ice-coated tree limbs, that may definitely cause some of the weaker limbs to fall and even more power outages or road obstacles. So be aware of that, folks. We are very concerned about refreezing issues for any slush or ponding that took place this afternoon as we head down into the upper teens. And you can see low temperatures will definitely be very, very chilly. As for tomorrow, the next few days, typical early February days before the next storm and the next storm and the next storm comes through. I'll have the very latest along with the AccuWeather 6-day in just a few minutes.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kathy. All of the ice have put a heavy burden on the tree branches, as you know, and some cracked under the pressure. A tree here shut down part of Route 625 in Cumru Township, Berks County. Berks County drivers also had to detour around Commonwealth Avenue in Kenhurst Borough. And this tree toppled over on Hill Road in Lower Alsace Township just moments before 69 News cameras arrived. Neighbors say it sounded like lightning striking.
Well, it was a large crash because that, as you could see, and it broke off the side of that tree there.
Falling trees also took out power lines and knocked out electricity to thousands of people around Berks County. The weight of the ice and snow proved to be too much for this carport. The roof here collapsed in the 1900 block of South Hall Street in Allentown today. We're told a gas line also broke when the roof buckled. Fortunately, no one was hurt. In Northampton County, a cleanup took an unpredictable turn. Officials say this plow truck was nearing the end of its run for the day in Hanover Township when part of it was swallowed up by a sinkhole. It happened this afternoon at Brentwood and Greenfield Streets. Officials say the truck is valued at $135,000. It's not clear how much repairs will cost. With more winter weather in the forecast, officials say this really puts them in a bind.